All right, it's go time. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to, I haven't said this in a while, but a special edition of 27 Outs. I, of course, am Ivan, as always, alongside Stefan. Today's special for obvious reasons. Usually it's only myself and Stefan, as always. But we have a brother here. Like, when I say a brother, literally.
You know what I
Dayon,
mean?
I don't know if you know this, but I think we're coming up on 10 years of knowing each other. I
That's
always talk to
crazy.
Stefan about this.
Sounds
So I
about
don't
right.
know if you had it in mind, but I believe later this year it would be since 2015 since we've known each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I might have to. We might have to get you back up to the city for like a
Hey, I'm
weekend or
coming.
some
I'm
shit.
coming back. I'm coming back, man. Probably this summer. I'll be
That,
back.
that sound good. That sound good. We got a link then for sure. All right, man. So you the reason we here tonight. So I'm gonna just jump it off, man.
Before y'all jump off, like Ivan said, it's family. Stephen, you already know, and I appreciate you guys for having me, and appreciate you guys for keep going. A lot of people want to do something, have a thought, but then for whatever reason, stop. But for
Mhm.
you guys to actually have a thought, put it together, and keep going, that means something. So keep going, man. One fall and Stephen made the call, and I'm here. You know it.
I hear that.
That's love, bro.
I wanna jump this off with something, something a little bit more, because I know you get a lot of questions. You probably get requests for a lot of interviews. So I want to take it back to like when we started growing up. Like, when did you know you wanted to do like sports? When did you know you wanted to get into the sports business? What was that first? When did the bug first bite you, so to speak?
Man, so the sports bug bit me when I was a kid. But in
Mm,
essence of getting into sports media, it hit me around the time when we met. Right before I moved to New York. So probably like 2010, 2011, where I was just undecided and lost in kind of in the sense of what direction I wanted to go with my life. And I made a list like, you know what? I love sports. I like these things, but I love sports. So if I could find a career in media doing sports, that's something I would love to do.
mm.
And ever since then, I just really been putting my foot forward. Like Stephen, me, the first game I ever called play by play was me and you together at Kingsborough.
Remember that?
And
Yeah.
how did I get that? By like, you know what? We got a radio station. They got a basketball team. I ain't rebroadcasting just by going and ask, and we made it happen. So just things like that,
Mhm.
being proactive and not waiting for opportunities, but kind of going to get them and kind of putting them together. It's kind of
Yeah.
how we here right now.
It's
That's
funny. I
crazy.
want to add on to that real quick, Stefan. It's funny you say that, Dayon, because again, we're starting very early here, folks. For those of you watching live right now via YouTube, but that's actually when I started to shadow you guys. I had met you
Mm.
guys
Oh
pretty much
yeah, oh
around the
yeah,
same time, and I
yeah.
was also into sports as well. But you guys already being the two who were calling the games, like you said, Dayon, and you,
Hmm.
Dayon, already having been at the radio station as well. You showed us a lot. Well, me specifically, because I remember just not even doing what you guys were doing, but literally just sitting beside John watching.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
do. I remember that first basketball game we called. I was nervous like a mother, boy. I was like, hold on, don't screw this up. But the beautiful thing about it is we prepared for those games as if we were calling actual
Yes.
games. We had
Yep.
stats, we would talk to the coaches at halftime. We would it
Yep.
would it would literally be a thing where now we calling these games as if we're there to do a job. You know what I'm saying? And I think, believe it or not, I think that's the stuff that prepares us for what we're doing now. Like these shows that you see us do, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. As Ivan, he could tell you, I'm always sending them things, or we're going back and forth about, yo, what does this look like if we do this? And a lot of that stems from watching me and you, watching you work, watching how you prepared and got ready for a game, or even got ready for a show at WKRB, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But it's just beautiful watching, the fruits of your labor actually come to life. Like knowing, yo, I got ready for this game, I called this game, and we did a hell of a job just by
Hmm.
being ourselves, but also knowing, yo, we were informed, we knew the players, we knew the situations, we knew everything that was possibly on the horizon or during the game to keep
Hmm.
listeners informed, so that we felt like, you know what, we did the best job we could.
Someone once told me, prepare for the job you want, not the job you have. So
Mm,
with that mindset, like you said, I was preparing like we was ESPN, like whatever. And I've been taking that mindset in whatever I do. That way, if you're properly prepared, I mean, you can't perform poorly. You perform well. And so, like you said, we had research. We knew previous seasons what they did last season, coach,
Mhm.
and that's just about being where your feet are and relishing it. Some people may have certain opportunities and not look at it like it's big. Where you are is the biggest opportunity. Like right now, this is the biggest show we got going on. It's 27 hours. Like where you at? If you ain't watching 27 hours, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, and that's the attitude I come with. I always tell Ivan, it's like I can't get out on court and physically play, right? So this is my time on the court. This is my time playing in the game. Like
Hmm.
this is my time to show you guys, hey, this is the talent I possess and things like that. And the reason why I work well with him is he's my to use a reference. This is gonna hurt you, D. I apologize. He is my Luca to my LeBron. Like he's the kind of the sidekick. So like
I've got a
what
question because I know we're at the beginning, and we're gonna work our way to some of the things that you've done over the years, leading up to now as well, Da'Yon. But what I do want to ask you is during that time, I know you just talked about going to New York, attending Kingsborough, and basically just finally putting your foot on the gas pedal when it came to I guess combining sports and media for yourself. But along that journey, especially when it comes to education, was there, which I'm sure there were, but I'd love to hear it from you. Were there ever times where you thought to yourself, like, damn, this shit is hard?
Man, when I was in Kingsborough, actually in Mr. Acosta's class, and we was editing video, and I'm like, this shit is really hard. It wasn't that it wasn't really hard. It was just time consuming, and you gotta put the details into it. And it was crazy. I actually did like a Zoom interview with him. He was doing with some alumni, and everything that I learned at Kingsborough was what I did in my profession after it. And so it prepared
mm,
me for exactly what I needed to do. And so those early moments in the time, I'm thinking like, man, this is hard, man. Do I really want to do this? And I
mm,
just stuck it out and kept going. But during those early mornings, I think one of the biggest things was just I remember we was editing like a Star Wars movie or Star Wars something like that, and it was just so particular in the steps you have to take to ensure that you put it all together.
mm,
And that was one of the things because in media, like you guys know, I'm sure it's often you got to know how to shoot, you got to know how to edit, you got to learn how to not only video, audio, you got to learn how to do pretty much everything. And so
yeah,
when I was learning those beginning stage, I'm like, man, this is a lot of work and this is kind of hard. But I was
mhm.
like, you know what, this is what I'm doing, and let's go.
That's a beautiful thing. Now I got a question because whether you know it or not, Ivan, like I looked at this dude, I looked at you down as like the person that I was in competition with because I felt like I always knew my stuff, but I always knew between you two dudes when it came to like UD when it comes to you in football and basketball. I mean football and basketball, and then Ivan with the baseball. It's like with you two guys, you had to be in your toes. Like, was there ever anybody that you got in contact with that when you think about, damn, this person made me better. He sharpened my skills. Who were some people that sharpened your skills so you can say this person made me better? Not so much from a like competitive standpoint. Yeah, well then
Mhm.
maybe from a competitive standpoint, but like you had to be on your A game when you were stepping in the arena with that particular person or those individuals.
I mean, well, definitely you. I got to give you your flowers as well because when we first met, we talked in at least 30 minutes to an hour, just sports. And really
Mhm.
we just talked. And from that conversation, I know like he know his shit. And it's not often you can have conversations with people who can have not only their own organic thoughts, but actually know what they're talking about versus repeating something that they may have seen or read or not really watching the game. They just looking at numbers and they tell you about stats. But I'm like, did you watch the game? Because you can have 20 points or um 2 touchdowns or something and
Mhm.
have a bad game. And
Yeah.
so I would definitely give you your flowers because every time that we would step in for WKRB, I had to be ready. Like when you would talk about Odell, I had to have my dead stats ready. But
Damn.
also after
Go ahead. Sorry, I'll ask in a bit. Go
no,
ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
So I wanted to follow up actually. So, um, when it comes to those debates, right? Was there ever I guess Damn, I just lost it. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna get it. Go ahead. Get back into your.
Okay,
I know
okay.
once I hear you, it's gonna
I
get back
think
to me.
so. I think for me, the biggest thing for me was there would be times, bro, where I'll be watching the game and I'm like, I know this dude is watching this shit. I know he got thoughts. I know he probably jotting something down on the phone right now. So
Yeah.
there'll be times on purpose where I wouldn't even hit nobody up. I wouldn't text you. I wouldn't call nobody. I would just lock in on some. I had to be able to deal with the idea that this dude is coming for my food. Like he's coming to mop me up. And it was me knowing, in this industry, it's very competitive. It's a very competitive industry. And even at WKRB, there was that level of competition. Like, all right, this dude's been here. He knows his way around the station. And that's why I came in and the first thing I said was, oh, we shaking this shit up. I'm going to say something that's really going to get this whole room ready to be like, oh, first of all, he knows his stuff, but he's crazy.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think sometimes thinking outside the box is lost today. Everybody has this same formulaic thought. Oh, can Luka and LeBron play off each other? Can LeBron play off the ball? Have we not seen LeBron build teams mid-season with the Cavaliers, play on the ball, off the ball? Like, these dudes do this. And so sometimes I think with these formulaic outcomes, even with baseball, it's like, can this team beat this team? I mean, we've seen teams go on runs before. Like, it's not that hard. Can you at least give me an organic thought?
Right.
And that's one thing I know I had with you. Well, I wouldn't sound crazy if I came to you and said, I think Romo's a better gifted quarterback than Eli.
Right.
I watched Eli's whole career. I'm not hating on Eli Manning, but if you told me who's the more skilled quarterback, I'm taking Romo all day.
No question. But to get back to your questions, who else I would say kind of inspired? I wouldn't say inspired me, but more or less kind of challenged me. It was also my sister, who I lived with in New York, because I was so accustomed to being comfortable and doing things in my comfort zone, and she would always challenge me to do things differently, try different things, stay patient, and just different qualities that I didn't possess at the time. And as I got older and I reflect, I'm like, okay, that's why she taught me those things. So that's another person. But sports wise, I will also have to say that's probably about it. I don't want to give nobody else their flowers.
That's crazy.
It just came back to me, by the way, the thought that left me.
No,
so, Da'Yon, I wanted to ask you, because I've said this to Stephen before, and he agrees with me. When it comes to sports conversations, are you one of those people, because I sure am, are you one of those people where you could tell how far that person is willing to go within the first couple of minutes of the conversation?
Oh, yes. Oh, easily. Within the first minute, I can tell. I could tell what if they watched, I could tell a lot within the first
Right.
minute of a conversation of what type of knowledge that they have. And especially with recent with the Luca trade, just talking to people about it and just hearing some of their things. And if you got a one track mind about it, then it's hard for me to talk to you about something, because you got to look at it from multiple angles of view. But yeah, within a minute, you definitely you can tell how far they're willing to go, how much did they actually watch, how much do they actually know. Well, it's kind of assumption, but as the conversation goes on, that initial thought pretty much is always right, primarily.
So, all right, I'm gonna tell a funny story because I feel like we seriousing it out. But funny story. So I'm in the station, Ivan, for about 10 minutes. And I'm talking about before I even hit the air, me and Da'Yon are talking. And I said, yo, this guy Da'Yon, I mean, like, he's making me want to go watch film right now. Like, to the point where, like, I saw the computers in there. I saw the whole setup they had. I said, shit, y'all lucky I can't start now. Because I'd have started that day. You know what I'm saying? And I think the beautiful things that about this is you already knew I already knew, like, this person is going to allow me to flourish, because there's but so many people that you see that you like, he understands where I'm coming from, right? And a lot of times and not to use this as an excuse, but a lot of times in my situation, having a physical disability, they already shut you down before they even hear you speak. And I know
Hmm.
also being a minority and also dealing with the things that we deal with on a daily basis as well, you can kind of get people kind of can pigeonhole you. Oh, he probably only knows a little bit about this, and he probably only
Hmm.
knows a little bit about that. But when you hear somebody speak and get in depth with their thoughts, you start to realize it's much deeper than just on the surface level. And I think what are some of the conversations you have with younger people who are trying to get in this industry? What advice would you have for a younger person who's trying to get in the industry and trying to make a way for themselves? What would be some things you tell them?
One of the first things I would tell them is, if you got one of these, then you got a camera. You don't need you got something to produce your own content. We're in the time now to where if you want to be in whatever it is, podcasting, sports broadcasting, reporting, whatever it is, you have the opportunity to produce content and watch yourself and practice and getting better on film. Whether you be on the camera, behind the camera, whatever you want to do within the media, you have the opportunity to hone those skills and really create those and hone in and perfect those skills before getting into hiring before being hired. Or you can even go as far as like you guys are doing, being independent and keep going, and eventually you get a certain number of subscribers, you're getting a certain number of sponsors, and now you're able to pay bills by just doing what you love to do. So it's really all about starting like you guys are doing. That's why I said when you guys are doing this and starting and keep going, that's that's powerful, because most people don't
Mm.
even do it. They I don't know if it's laziness. I don't even want to know what it is, but actually taking time out, having your mics, having the things, and actually doing what you want to do, and not waiting for somebody, waiting for opportunity, waiting for something. That's the first thing that I would tell them. Like, you got whatever you want to do, you have the opportunity to start it by yourself. You can go get you. I got a tripod that I hold this phone where I can sit it if I want to. You got iMovie. If you got like you got so many different gadgets at your disposal to be able to edit, to learn. You go to YouTube University, learn how to do whatever you want. So
Yeah.
the first thing I would tell them is start with yourself. Start creating your own content, whether it's writing, whether it's broad video, whatever it is. You got to start with yourself. Start your own content.
That's a beautiful thought. Ivan, get your next question off because I got two more, and then we're gonna get into some current stuff. But
All right. So one other thing I wanted to ask you. I know we were just talking about sports for a bit. But obviously just a few months ago, and by the way, for those of you who are just joining us, make sure to follow us on Instagram at 27 ounce 3C. And for those of you watching via YouTube live right now, shout out to all of you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yeah, Da'Yon, the underrated podcast, just a few months ago, according to the first video, I think it was sometime in October is when you put out the first episode. Walk us through, the initial thoughts. How did a podcast come up, and what made you want to do it alongside your co-host?
Man, it was been for years, and for years, people have been telling me you should start a podcast. You should start a podcast. You should start a podcast. And I had the desire to, but I guess it just wasn't the timing. And so, how I met my co-host, I was living in Houston, and they had a summer program. Like you guys know how basketball, they have the programs in the summer. And at that program, I was doing play-by-play for the program, just to get some reps. And he won MVP in the program, and that's how we met. I was interviewing him. Did he actually text me on Instagram like, "Hey, bro, I'm probably gonna retire soon. Can I shadow you?" And I'm like, "Bro," and we just got to talking and rapping. I'm like, "Bro, we need to start a podcast." And I knew who he was, and I knew the connections that he had, and what he was talking to me about in his humility, how he just came to me. He's like, "I want to shadow." He didn't came to me asking. He was like, "Man, I want to shadow you to learn what I can learn in the media." And then kind of fast forward, they had a next conversation. Well, actually, on that first conversation, I made a notes. We made a notes, and I'm like, let's put this notes. Let's come up, throw some names out there. Let's throw some dates, and let's throw some ideas of what we want to talk about. We set some dates, got to those dates, solidified a name, solidified a start date, and came up with the concept of underrated after talking about different life stories and different things that we've been to. And we came to the conclusion, you know what? Everybody got a story that they overcome adversities and felt like they was overlooked, but more or less everyone has some adversity that they overcame where they may have felt underrated. So that's kind of how we came up with the name and the concept and it really how we came together. And since then, so he's overseas right now in Croatia. He's still playing overseas in Croatia right now. And so once we put together those dates and we're like, you know what, if you leaving in this time, we gotta start on this date. First couple of shows we'll do my story, your story, and then let's do some guests. And we hit the ground rolling. And we before he left, we did 8 episodes pre-recorded and had them already edited and then release them until October. We shot them in August. And so we already had them already ready. And we're like, you know what? We're going to put together a rollout. That way we got content already built up and ready. That way, once we release, now we got 8 episodes that ready. We keep going week by week. And so once we came together that plan, we didn't get no practice, no rehearsal. We just jumped out there and just did it together. And of course, how the universe works, our chemistry was good. Everybody liked it. And so it's just just the way of the world, man. Just the way of the universe. It all came together organically. It wasn't like really planned or anything. It's like he sent me that message, like I said, and I was like, you know what, bro, we need to do a podcast. So it all kind of happened organically, and the feedback and stuff we've been getting, it's been great, man. It's been great.
So this is actually live right now. I don't mean to cut you off, but you know the reporter and me got to come and bring it. The Jimmy Butler trade to the Golden State Warriors is now a 5-team trade. There are multiple teams and
Man, 5.
Utah's involved in this. Miami, Toronto's now involved in this as well.
What the hell just happened?
Wow.
This deal is huge. There's many moving parts to this. Dennis Schroeder is heading to Utah. Kyle Anderson is heading to Toronto. So we got this is like fluid. That is crazy. And there's no draft picks going back to Golden State. It's just Jimmy.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of stuff moving. The next question I wanted to ask you was, and this is us having fun. What were some of your favorite moments at WKRB, man? Like if you had to pinpoint a couple moments at the station, you know, doing shows or just preparing for shows, or like, you know, even off the air stuff that you saw or heard, you know.
Man, off top, one of my favorite shows is when we had the big debate with Dez and Odell. Because it was, I think, man, that was great, and it was all organic. Because of course, Odell showed that his Hall of Fame caliber talent, like he has that type of talent, generational talent. He didn't end up having a generational career,
but he had
generational talent. And Dez was coming off an All-Pro year where he led the league in touchdowns and he was going crazy. So I think you might have said that Odell was better, whatever you may have said, but it was natural. It was all organic, and it was passion. And that was definitely one of my favorite shows, unquestionably. But then after that, just us all kicking it, spending time together. Because I think we went to a base, just kicking it, bro. Like those times, all of that, I love it, bro. It's part of my story. It's like you guys need me for anything, I'm there. Like I don't care what it is. Like we family.
I want to say something about that story you just shared, Da'Yon, because I was actually in the on-air studio at the time. I'm gonna paint a clear picture here, in addition to what you already said. So I don't know if you guys remember the timing in which it actually went down, but that was at the ending of the show. So could you imagine what that sounded like if you were actually listening? I mean, if I wasn't there, I would have thought you guys were throwing hands like when you went off the air. I would have been like, wait, oh no, these guys are serious. It sounded
that's how
bad.
passionate it was, though. It was. I mean, I didn't get heated, but I was like passionate. Like,
no, it's
real.
No, it's no, but it's one of those things where I think we have to learn how to separate the difference between passion and crossing the line. Because I think sometimes these modern sports commentators, y'all cross the line. Y'all be talking about things that don't even need to be addressed. I'm gonna be honest. Like some of it is just nonsensical. Like I know we all trying to do it for theatrics and get a name for ourselves and make a name, but what we both felt at that time was how we really felt. So me arguing with this dude wasn't me trying to,
And neither one of us was wrong though.
no,
That's what's
neither of us was
crazy.
wrong. And here's the thing. The thing I think about with Odell and Dez is, yo, what could have been for both?
Both.
What could have been for both? It's not even on
Both.
some, yo, this guy had a better career and my guy won.
This got to be Emilio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
What's
is
up,
him.
brother?
That is him.
I know what it is. What's up, brother?
You know what I mean? And so I think a part of it is just having the respect for you, because here's the thing. I don't fight with people like that I don't respect.
Same.
If
I would just let it rock.
I don't,
I know you know your stuff, so I'm like, nah, we're going at it.
Listen, it's like with me and him when we talk baseball. Like there's moments on the show where I'm like, nah, I'm standing in this position and we gonna argue this, and we might be here for 15, 20 minutes.
We actually had a similar moment. It wasn't on the air, but it was behind the scenes, prepping for the show and whatnot. It was actually at the station as well, but it was just as loud as you and him got there. So just know, Stephen, he's had a few of these ever since.
Oh, did you? Speaking of a baseball, because this is a baseball show technically, but we
got to get into baseball. I don't think I'm coming and not ready.
No,
right.
So did you ever hear the trade 2 pitchers off the 2015 Mets story? Did you hear this story?
Oh.
D, you ain't hear this story. Ivan, set it up, because he always sets the story up ill.
All right, so you remember 2015 Da'Yon when the Mets went to the World Series to face the Royals and they lost? Mm-hmm. But this was early in Matt Harvey's career, Noah Syndergaard, DeGrom, all of those dudes. Mm-hmm. Daniel Murphy gets red hot. They trade for Cespedes. They get him from the Tigers, and he basically carries them there. So after they fall short to the Royals, Stephen at the time, which looking back at it now, it made all the sense in the world. But at the time, me and probably everybody else in the world were on some like, yo, what are you talking about? So he was saying then that the Mets, knowing that they had as many guys that were that good when it came to starting pitching, should have traded at least 2. Now, of course, they ended up not doing that. They stood with everyone. But when you look back at that, that was something that he said at the time. And literally just a couple of years later, it turned out to be something that should have gone down.
No, but I just remember, and if you remember Alyssa, shout out to the program director.
Yeah, it was me. Literally everyone who was a member of the station at the time were yelling, yo, you're crazy. Like, what kind of drugs are you doing? Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So fast forward maybe about 2 years later, they started having conversations about, yo, we should trade some pitchers. We got to get some flexibility. And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, I know some of the shit I say is crazy. I fully understand that. I conceptually, some of the stuff I say is just off the wall bonkers, but it's always well thought out, right? Like, the one thing I always learned was you can have an opinion, you can formulate an opinion, but make sure your opinion is
you can back it up,
well formulated, and you can so people can understand where you're coming from. Because a lot of times people just have an opinion and they like to yell and they like to be loud, but nobody nobody ever explains your opinion, right? Where it's like, I had detailed reasons why I felt the way I felt, right? Where there are times even in sports today, like you'll see these GMs make a move and you'll see them up on the dais or the podium, and they're like, we just made this move because we just felt like it was the best way for our franchise to move forward. A, what does that mean? B, can you elaborate more what went into the process of doing this? Because you just altered your franchise, whether it be football, basketball, baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does a good job of explaining reasonings for doing things anymore. And I really just, I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand whatever happened to, first of all, having an original opinion like we talked about, but what happened to articulating your thoughts in the manner in which the rest of the world can at least have an idea where you were trying to go. Like, do you ever find yourself, D, in a situation where, like, damn, like, there's more to that, but I want to hear somebody articulate it, because I know I'm not the only one that thought that. Does that ever happen to you?
All the time, especially I think, especially in the era that we live in nowadays, when you got Twitter and so many different outlets for people to see sports takes and just to be able to, I don't want to, and copy that, really, just to copy that and just to say something. Or you live in a, we also live in a time where it's debate TV, to where people just, I don't want to say they want to debate, but they'll say something that they heard. It may have sounded good when they heard it, and they can't, like you said, they don't have the facts or haven't really done the research themselves to be able to back it up. And so I think it's really a lot to do with the times that we're having. People, we live in a time where people just watch highlights. They don't even watch the games. They just watch highlights and look at the box score, or go to Twitter and get their sports take. And so it's a lot of different variables, I think, that play into key with that.
That's crazy. But all right, we got to get to the elephant in the room, man. You're a Dallas resident. You're living in Dallas now.
You see that? That's the Dallas skyline right there behind me.
Know what I mean? Shout out to everybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you watching this and you in the city, we appreciate you. We welcome everybody. You could be.
It's a good Dallas comment. Y'all can pull it up after you ask your questions. Go ahead.
So I want to ask you, were you sick and hurling over the toilet when your boy got traded out of Dallas?
I definitely was, for that night and the next day. I was sick. Just more or less, like, we really traded away a generational talent. Like, I couldn't comprehend it, especially the Mavericks. I would expect something like that from the Cowboys, but the Mavericks, I didn't get it. And especially we come from Dirk, and then we're blessed with Luka. I'm like, okay, he's gonna retire Mal. It's like the writing on the wall. And so then I get the alert. Harris trade Luka for 8. Am I reading this right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, no. And so, like, man, I was sick. But then that next day, after I slept on it, and I was like, you know what? Let me start thinking sensible about this. Let me start thinking logical. And I was like, it has nothing to do with on the court. It cannot have anything. Well, I was not on the court, but I would say with Luka's talent. It has nothing to do with Luka's talent and his ability to be a great player, because that he is. No one could take that away from him. But I think it's a lot about the mindset of Luka, in essence of reaching the peak of greatness. That's a different conversation from just being great. He's great, yes. But you got people like Jason Kidd, Nico, the GM, Michael Finley, and those just a few names around a circle that, in my opinion, was like, you know what? We seen Kobe, we seen Michael Jordan, we seen different people we even seen Dirk lose in the finals to the Heat, come back with MVP the next year. Then you got Luka losing the finals. He comes back like he did all his other years, overweight, out of shape, not really ready to start the season. So I'm thinking to myself, that has to be the reason that they're like, you know what, we can't just invest $400 million into this guy and him not really taking it serious, in essence, to be the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm thinking maybe they're questioning that hunger within Luka, because he's great. You know, so I asking myself, okay, will he have more of a James Harden-like career, or will he change it around and win some rings, or what will it be? And so I was devastated at first, but then I'm like, okay, we got AD. He can move back to the 4. We got Gafford. We got Lively. Kyrie is still our finisher. We got high level.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I called him the next morning, because I just want to confirm some things for my own personal, like, because this guy, listen, we're not selling you short tonight, bro. This guy is connected into the Texas sports scene, especially Dallas, where he's from, as anybody that I know, right? So I was calling you just to get the temperature, but I was calling you to also confirm what I had heard through my people that were in the organization at the time, going, yo, we had to do this just based on he wasn't working for us. Like there had to be a reason why J Kidd. I heard that J Kidd and him had multiple sit downs. Like, yeah, you have to come in ready to play. Like you have to come in ready to play. And even to the point where like J Kidd even had certain members of the team last year. This was right before the playoffs. Luka, you have to. These games are different, man. These games ain't just regular season games where you could just come and do as you please. Like you have to come in here locked in. And one of the people that kind of got to him a little bit was Kyrie, but you also see where even Kyrie was like, yo, dog, you sitting here crying to the officials in must-win games. You can't be doing that in must-win games. And you got to understand something. Me and you had this conversation, and the one thing I took away from it is J Kidd ain't just going to trade a generational point guard because he was a generational point guard himself.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows what it's like to be that guy, it's him, right? So for him to be like, all right, man, I got to move on from you, brother. You just ain't doing it for us. That's a bigger indictment on Luka, more so than it is the Mavericks. And when you look at it on the surface, does it still look crazy? Yeah.
Yes.
It looks crazy. Because if you really wanted to trade him, you could have at least called 4 or 5 different teams and got the draft pick.
The whole league. Now, that's the one thing that I was very shocked about. And I'm like, why don't we at least announce it? Luka is on the trade block. And then you like, teams going, hey, we got 5 picks and you got, I mean, just at least have that opportunity. But that's one of the things I'm like, I don't get that aspect of it.
Like even texting with front offices today, because you know I'll be hitting people up all hours of the night. You already know how I've been doing this since we met. I'm like, yo, if Mikal Bridges if the Mikal Bridges cost 5 first rounders and Rudy Gobert got you 4 first rounders, Luka probably would have got you 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Man. But it's still a risk with those picks though, because you gotta look at Golden State, for example. They had drafted Wiseman was a bust when they could have got LaMelo or whoever they could have got. And then with that trade, you trade Jordan Poole or add someone that you drafted. You get CP3 who's not on the team anymore. And they just got Jimmy Butler, so they just kind of got out of that sticky situation. But draft picks isn't always promising if you don't hit like OKC. And so I'm like, at least you got a great player in return. Then you got a young shooter who's complementary to the stars that you got. And so, like, it's sensible in some areas, but it's still crazy. It's still crazy.
So now that some time has gone by, right? And I know it might take the rest of the season, you know, especially being from there. I can only imagine how you guys are feeling at the end of the day. But how you feeling now that Anthony Davis is on the team? Are you looking forward to how the remainder of the season is going to turn out, or you just don't care anymore?
No, I'm with my squad. I'm with them. I think actually we got better. I think we got better we got better defensively, and we still equally as good. We didn't get better offensively because Luka is that good.
Yeah.
But in totality, overall game, we're still as good offensively. We still have a closing Kyrie, but now defensively, we're going to be one of these top 5, top 3 defensive teams because you got 2 bigs with Lively and Gafford. Now AD is at the 4. You don't have to guard centers. He's in his natural position where he can work. And then you got the perimeter defenders that we got with PJ Washington, and then you got Najee Marshall, and so I'm like, okay, we got pieces to still contend. Now it's just
by the way,
can they get that chemistry?
Real quick, I like the kid you picked up, Caleb Martin. That kid's a dog. That kid is a dog.
We just got Caleb Martin too.
Philly
finals experience.
I'm telling you
he
right
gonna
now,
guard and he gonna make big shots.
So this is my thing, right? I will say this, and I'm gonna come at it from a Knicks perspective, like a half a second.
That's a great point right there.
I see which one he's talking about.
Yeah,
he's saying the downside for Dallas is their title window went down.
Yeah, so we're gonna get to these comments. We see them. We just want to give Da'Yon time with us, but the one thing, just to bring it from a Knicks perspective, like I think that's why the Knicks did what they did in terms of, I think they want to play Cat at the 4. Like Tom Thibodeau's vision is, I want to play Cat at the 4. I want to put Mitch or Porty at the 5, and I want to let OG and Mikal just be those menaces on the wings, right? Where Jalen's going to get his in regard. Jalen and Cat are going to get theirs. It's just how do we guard you on the other end, right? And just watching Tibbs go through his process, because it takes Tibbs a while to figure things out. Like, I wonder what it looks like, because you talked about having two bigs in Lively and Gafford. Well, if you look at what the Knicks might be bringing to the table, if you get back a healthy Mitchell Robinson and you get back you let Hawkporty kind of do his own thing where he develops a little bit, now you got the two backup centers like they had with Hartenstein and Robinson last year, and now it becomes a thing where you don't have to ask OG to play out of position. You don't have to ask Mikal to play out of position. And the other thing I would say that's interesting is I feel like the Knicks and Dallas are they kind of mirror each other in the style that they want to play, where you got a closing point guard, you got defensively strong wings, and you got two centers that are going to block shots, that are going to alter shots, that are going to be really aggressive and athletic. So I guess my point is, did you make this trade to particularly see a certain team, or you just made it because you think you could get to the West and beat anybody? Or was OKC at the top of their thought process when they made this trade?
I think you look at the landscape of the West and you feel confident. OKC is still young, even though they're battle tested and they got the MVP. But to your point, like you were talking about with Cat, when he's at the four, he has the mismatch pretty much on every team because
Every
most
night.
teams are running with four guards, so four perimeter players and one big. And so, and then Dallas thinking back to their championship window, it was Tyson Chandler and Dirk. So now you can roll those two bigs out there, and like you're saying, pick and roll with Kyrie and with Kyrie and AD.
Oh yeah.
It sounds good, and I think that it can be good. It just got to be with chemistry. I think it's got to be with chemistry. AD is hungry. I think he's hearing all the noise, like the disrespect. That he got to be taking it as disrespect because he's generational as well. I mean, we can't act like he isn't who he is, and he played a season high 72 games last year. So people are talking about the narrative that he's hurt, this and that, and he's gonna be hungry. And so
I would say the same thing applies on the other side though, because we are talking about a 25-year-old generational point guard who's playing with LeBron James. If you don't think he's gonna come out in LA and want to go scorch earth, listen, Luka Doncic is gonna want to do work to these dudes. Do they win a championship? Who knows? But if you got any type of pride, you know he's gonna want to go out there and kill. Just for you thought I was fat, out of shape. All right, watch this. Now y'all got to deal with me and LeBron. Good luck with that. And by the way, LeBron ain't your average 40-year-old. I don't give a damn. Like that's different.
Yeah. That's on one side of the ball. They got to play the other side of the court.
That's true. That is true.
That's going to be their downfall. Because who's going to defend?
And that was another thing that Luka didn't do for the Mavs either. That was a big issue for them.
Yeah, but this is where you and me and you talked about this the other day. This is the Lakers thinking about life after Bron. This is clearly what this means.
That's like to that point. Like they're good for the next 10 years to be able to at least compete.
Right. I got one more. We got to get to the baseball because this is a baseball show. You are a Texas Rangers fan, so we have to. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. Were you going crazy when they won that championship a couple years ago?
Man, I was going crazy. I remember when we lost 2 back-to-back. We were out of way, and so when we finally won it, I was ecstatic. I mean, I was happy, and the fashion that we won it. I mean, El Bombe came up big for us, and so I was happy, man. The whole ride, I was happy, and so I'm looking forward to them bouncing back. I mean, we had some good re-signees with Nathan Eovaldi with our pitcher, and then we got a young gun who's finna break out. I mean, Wyatt Langford. No, I'm talking about Wyatt Langford.
Oh, Wyatt Langford was my rookie of the year pick last year.
He's gonna come back. He coming back with it, and so I'm excited.
When I told Ivan about Wyatt Langford because I was watching you guys' system for a little while. Jack Leiter, Wyatt Langford. I like the kid Carter that you brought up during the championship run. And I was like, there's something different about Wyatt Langford now. You watch him play,
Mhm.
and it is the sound off his back just is different. Like it's a different
Yep.
sound. When he hits the ball, it just sounds different. And so the other thing I like about this dude is how many 21 year olds you know with that much of a eye at the plate, being like, all right, I'm gonna swing for my pitch when it's in this particular part of the strike zone. Most 21-year-olds don't have that. They got a few guys like that. Evan Carter's like that. He's like that. I even think Seager's rubbing off on them young boys because Seager's
Yep.
approach is very much the
Mhm.
same way, where it's like, all
Mhm.
right, man, I know what I want to do when I'm at the plate, right? And I also think like when you watch them, when you watch the Texas Rangers going into 2025, the one thing I will ask you is because I'm gonna tell you I'm bullish on Jack Leiter. I think Jack Leiter is gonna be a stud. What are your expectations for the pitching staff, and what are your expectations for Jacob deGrom? Do we see Jacob deGrom on the mound for any substantive amount of time during the season, or are you guys just waiting and see mode with Jacob?
It's kind of wait to see mode, but we did rebuild our bullpen. We're getting Jacob way up, Sean Armstrong, and a couple lefties to go along. And so I think that's the key. If he can come back and be any resemblance of himself and start to be dominant as the
Mhm.
season goes on, like later in the year, early in the year, we it's so many games, but I think late in the year or middle of the year, I would say after the All-Star break, if he starts to kind of get in that rhythm with,
Mhm.
with the depth and the bullpen continues to build, I like our chances because we got good leaders with experience. And then we got the young gun with Wyatt, who we just mentioned. And so, and we got I coach. I mean, not I coach. I'm used to basketball, but our manager,
Bruce Bochy, I love that
Oshie,
dude.
oh man,
yeah.
I love him,
I
man.
love
I
Bruce
love him. I
Bochy.
think once we get in the postseason, it's like the
That's when you.
confidence with
That's
him.
when you're gonna see his value. That's when you're
You
gonna
gonna
see
see
Bruce
it. You gonna
because
see it
he's been everywhere. So you're gonna know.
everywhere. And
Yeah,
yep.
you're gonna know how valuable he is. Now we got a couple knuckleheads in here that want to ask you some stuff about a conspiracy theory with
I'm
Luca and
seeing that.
Nike.
I
All
wanna
right.
I wanna ask one last question about relating to baseball, of course. But I know you said you were a Rangers fan, Da'Yon, but I never ever, and you can make it short if you want before we get into the comments. It's up to you. But I never ever got how you felt about what the Houston Astros did in 2017 with the whole cheating scandal. Could you tell
Mm.
us what the vibe was like out there during the time? And also, what was your reaction to that too?
So what's crazy? I was actually living in Houston during that time. So I was actually living in Houston because I graduated from the University of Houston. And so me being from Texas, I rooted for Houston during that time, as long as they weren't playing my Rangers. And so I was like, come on, let's win. It's a Texas thing. But then when the cheating came out, it was I, I'm one of those. I believe about the integrity of the game. You can't cheat the integrity of the game for the benefit. Everybody's trying to cheat. I will say that, but it's like you get caught. I can't respect it. I can't. I just can't respect it. Now
Now
I'm with you trying to get the competitive advantage because everybody's trying to do it.
everybody's trying
You
to do
lying
it,
to
right?
yourself. You're
Yeah.
not trying to do it.
Right.
But once you get caught, I can't support. I can't. I can't back that. You got caught. You cheat. You cheat. Cheating is cheating. Period.
Right.
Right.
So I gotta ask this. I gotta ask this question about Nico Harrison having ties with Nike and Luca being a Nike guy and LeBron being a like. Here's my problem with your question, but I ask it anyway. TD, his question is: do you think there was a conspiracy theory by Nike to get LeBron to LA or send to get Luca to LA? I'm sorry.
I think some of that can be true. I think they can call Adam Silver and he can. I would say some of it can be true. I would say that. I don't think in totality it's a full conspiracy,
Mm.
but I will say the higher ups do want to see the Lakers with a star. They want the Lakers relevant. And so part of that is true. I think part of that is true, but I can't fix myself to think that in the Mavericks would do something. But I'm gonna put everything. It's possible. Anything is possible. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's not because it could be true. And they do want the Lakers to be relevant. I think that's 100% true. I think it is. And so I
And my
it can be some of it can be true.
I think my other point about this is, and Ivan, I want to get your thoughts on this. The ratings are down in the league too.
It is. That's a good point. That's
The
a good
ratings
point.
are down on the league too. So if you don't think the Lakers not the late, they want another Lakers Celtics finals out this motherfucker before Adam Silver hangs up his commissionership. And the Celtics got the team to do it. Getting Luka over there only prolongs the Lakers' window to win a possible championship. And the way the league is moving now, Giannis could be in a different spot in a couple months. I can see Giannis potentially trying to get his way out there somewhere. Jokic, you know what I mean? So the league is going to look very different. By the way, if you think some of Giannis's comments were just he funny, nah, there's some truth to them comments now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to see Jokic and Jokic with the Knicks. I want to go somewhere. There's some truth to that he now. And
so let me ask you this, because what I'm understanding from everything that we've talked about, including what TD had mentioned there in the chat, are we trying to say that the NBA might have been involved with this trade as well?
I would believe it.
I would believe it too.
If I have to sum up,
them.
Using just a few words, what we were just talking about, it sounds like it was more than just the Lakers and Mavs who were talking to each other.
No, listen.
No question.
I could make the argument that I could make the argument that the league was on a trade call with both these teams and push these teams to get this to the finish line.
It's like make it happen.
Yo, stop playing games. There's millions of dollars. You talking about trading this international superstar to the Los Angeles Lakers? Are you out of your mind? No disrespect to your Mavs in the great city of Dallas. Shout out to everybody in Dallas. But Dallas ain't LA. And when you talk about putting it, you seen what Ohtani did for them out there. You seen what you seen what LeBron did, and LeBron's not LeBron of 20 years ago. Imagine if young LeBron in LA with all his opportunities. Now you're talking about putting a 25-year-old at the prime of his powers in Los Angeles. I can't argue if they told him to push that thing through now.
Yeah, I can't argue it either. And
I can't
to
argue.
the point about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown was right about Nike. I think there's a lot of truth in what he was saying about the higher ups and what they're doing with Team USA and Nike. It's politics. It's politics. It's all politicking. And so,
which is why he wasn't selected for Team USA. Yeah, that's another reason why. Yeah,
right. And so Jaylen Brown was right. I think there is some truth to some of the conspiracy theories in some aspects. Now, in totality, I can't sit there and say it's fully true, but you'd be naive to think that some like the league and some of the other conspiracy theories isn't true.
So let me ask you this: right now that Luka's gone from Dallas, and because the franchise or the people that bought the Dallas Mavericks that now own them, they are Vegas bound, like they're from Vegas originally.
Yeah.
Could you see any possible scenario in which in the next 5 to 7 years the Dallas Mavericks are relocated to Vegas at any point?
I'm hearing that the potential of people putting 2 and 2 together with them being from Vegas. They're trying to get a casino in Texas. So if not, I mean, who knows? They traded Luka. So you never know.
What I'm saying
you never know.
So do you think I guess the question I'm asking in a broader
nothing
sense
is off limits, right?
Nothing. Do you think them trading Luka is the start of them trying to dismantle the franchise and get it to Vegas at the very bottom?
I don't think so, because what I think is that the league wants LeBron as an owner. So I think they're going to hold off on that Vegas team until LeBron retires and begins to own that team. I think that's the next step, because that goes to his movie, his legacy. It's all NBA. And so
I've been saying this too.
I don't think that. I think the Mavericks are going to stay put in Dallas. But I do. I'm hearing the things about the casino and potentially them moving, but I think LeBron's been talking too emphatically about Vegas and starting a team there. So it's too much on the wall for him not to eventually do that when he retires.
So I remember I told Ivan right after they won the NBA Cup. I said, give LeBron like 5 years. He's gonna have a team already owned, built in Vegas, all that. Randall Arena, all that.
Waller.
And I remember telling him, and he was like, "What? You think so?" I'm like, "Yo, dog, he's preparing already. Where his next move is, I'm gonna buy an NBA team. I'm gonna send him to Vegas. His mindset is already made up.
I think it might be an expansion though. I think they're gonna add a couple of teams. Vegas could be one. Probably add one back to Seattle. I
Right.
think they're gonna expand.
So I think, but TD, to answer your question fully, I think part of it is Nike. I think Nike wants these bigger stars in bigger markets, and they want to be able to expand their global reach because Nike sales have been down as well. They're not getting the same traffic on
Top
this.
athletes.
Yeah, they're not getting. You got guys going to Skechers before they go to Nike. Joel Embiid's with Nike.
Skechers, New Balance.
Julius Randle's with Nike. Your fellow Texas brother. You know what I mean? So you got a
He's
lot of
from
guys.
Dallas.
Yeah, you got a lot of guys going to different companies. Even you got, Kyrie's with a Chinese brand, Clay is with a Chinese brand. You got all these guys.
Man with Adidas. He's one of the top players in the
Yeah,
league right
so
now. He with Adidas, and so
I could see an argument when Nike's trying to get a foothold back in the league. You got two of the top premier Nike athletes on the same team. And guess what? Now you get to put Jordans in like the Laker colorways. Yo, get the new Luka sixes and purple and gold. You know what I'm saying? You know them Kobe's were selling out like a mother before he passed away, boy. Them Kobe's, them Laker colors is different, dog.
Yeah, Kobe's are a must-have in a lot of sneaker collectors, a collection nowadays.
I mean, Los Mavs. I mean, so I guess real quick, I just want to get your thoughts on this Jimmy Butler thing. How does Jimmy work in Golden State with Draymond and Steph?
I mean, he's an upgrade from Andrew Wiggins. He's more consistent than Andrew Wiggins. Although he really doesn't shoot the three, he's still a respectable shooter where you're not gonna play him like they play Russell Westbrook. You're not just gonna leave him out there. And so in that aspect, you got another alpha, you got a dog, you got someone who let me put this in perspective. You got someone who was in a play-in and took his team to the finals.
Talk about it.
What other player did that? Tell me one.
No, not many.
And so you put a hungry Jimmy Butler with Steph. You still got young gun with Kuminga. So you got two perimeter defenders with your junkyard dog and Draymond, and you still got what's their center that plays every game?
Kevon Looney.
Still got Looney, and so you still got a good core there with some young guys coming off the bench. Now they got another star though. Now you got two stars, and let's see where to go. Roll the ball out.
The one thing I will say is Steph in the playoffs is different than Steph in the regular season. Steph in the 22 finals showed me he's built for
playoff Jimmy.
Yeah, them two together are Warriors not even top 4 in the West. That we gotta wait and see.
All they need to do is get in that play in, and they're gonna be. Just think of Rockets right now are number 1. Rockets and OKC are 1-2 right now. I think whoever.
No, Rockets are third. Rockets are third.
Okay, just because I lost a couple games.
I think the 1-2 is OKC.
OKC. If I'm not mistaken. You got 3 young teams right there. So you mean to tell me Warriors get in, play in, and they play one of those teams? They're going to be favored, rightfully so. And so Warriors, I got to see it, but I like the move with Jimmy. I like it.
And they gave him a 2-year extension for $121 million. So Jimmy got his money. He's paid. So
OKC and Memphis are legit, but 7-game series.
The one thing I don't like about Memphis's lead dog is not a shooter, and I can stop Ja from going to the basket. If I stop Ja from going to the basket, I shut down their whole reason for offense. You know what I'm saying? Where I look at Houston, I was at the game the other night, by the way. Thank you for Jalen Brunson again, by the way, when they beat the Houston Rockets. I like Houston. The one thing I question about with Houston is there enough shooting on the floor for me to have to respect you in a 7-game series or a playoff series. Jalen Green is very young and athletic. He's raw. He's super talented. I like Cam Whitmore as a player. I watched him the other night. The kid can play. I like the kid Tate. All them kids out there, they can play. The question is, in a 7-game series with being as young as they are, you need some level of experience. That's the one thing we talk about.
You gotta have it.
You got to have experience with this here. So that's why in my head I'm like, Houston and Memphis. I don't see it. Like with Oklahoma City, the reason why I like Oklahoma City is because you got Isaiah Joe that can shoot the three. The Williams brothers can shoot the three. Shea Gilgeous, he don't shoot it much, but he can shoot it if you make a mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Chet can shoot it.
Chet can shoot it, right? So now you got 4 guys on the floor, and you got iHeart that if you need to be spaced out occasionally, he might hit one from the corner. You know what I'm saying? So they have a bunch of different options, and so I really like what they're building out there. And the question is, listen, this comment I agree with. This comment I disagree with.
West goes through the Joker.
I disagree with that.
Nah.
And the reason why I disagree with that is Denver ain't willing to pay their guys to keep a team together.
Yeah.
And I like Denver. I like their team, but you could have had a chance to keep this core together.
Yeah.
You could have paid Bruce Brown. You didn't do it.
That was a big key. That's what I was thinking about the whole time. When you said although Westbrook is giving a lot what Bruce Brown gave them, but it ain't the same.
You could have paid Caldwell Pope. You didn't do that.
Yeah, they lost a lot.
You lost a lot of bench depth. So I think my point is, I like Joker, but the reality of it is, ain't them boys in OKC are gonna have something to say. I think my conference finals as it stands right now is Oklahoma City, Dallas, and the conference finals out west. As where it sits right now.
I would love to see that.
And if I had to pick right now, I'm gonna take Oklahoma City because I've been with them all year. I'm not gonna change the pick now. But AD and Chet just got real interesting to me, boy.
Yep.
AD and Chet. You talking about something now?
I got one more baseball question, unless you may have any others, Stefan.
I got a few. Yeah, I got a few.
I'm gonna actually give and let me say this quickly. Friendly reminder, as always, make sure you go ahead and follow us on Instagram at 27ounce3c. And for those of you who are new to the YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And also make sure you subscribe to the Underrated Podcast as well. We got Da'Yon in the building tonight.
Please do, man.
So later this month, Da'Yon, and for those of you who are watching right now, in honor of Black History Month, we're gonna do a top 10 black baseball players list, Stefan and I. But since we have you here tonight, Da'Yon, instead of doing a top 10, could you give us a top 3? Not all time. I want to actually make this a little personal. And what I mean by that is give me your top 3 black baseball players that you have watched. So it has to be during your time.
During my time, I got to throw Ken Griffey in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ken Griffey.
There's been a few of them now. That's a
tough Griffey I like. I saw Griffey coming.
Barry Bonds. I got to say Barry Bonds. I got to say Barry Bonds. Ooh.
Last one. Remember, top 3.
Put Barry in the Hall of Fame, man. Enough.
Put Barry in the Hall, man. Come on, man.
Stop.
One more. Somebody that's still playing right now. I'm gonna go current. Mookie Betts.
Ooh, I like
that.
Mookie Betts. Just to bring it current. Someone that's still playing. Yeah. I go Mookie Betts.
So I got 2 more baseball questions for you, but these are fun. Favorite Texas Ranger growing up as a kid? Who was your guy?
Man, my first game I remember I went to, Pudge Rodriguez hit a home run. And he's always been one of my favorites. I got to go Pudge Rodriguez. I got to. My first game I went to, he hit a home run, and he's just an all-time Ranger. I mean, I got to go Pudge easily Pudge.
Pudge ain't bad.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Whoa. I'm not gonna have you disrespecting the good goddamn name of Peter Sabathia. We will end this stream right now, please.
Don't forget, he's a Red Sox fan, bro. Keep that in mind.
No, I don't care. No. I'm not gonna have you out here disrespecting the good goddamn name of CC Sabathia when we show your Red Sox love all the time. Now, don't do that. Don't do that. Also, by the way, do you remember those Texas Rangers teams in the 90s with Pudge? You had Juan Gonzalez, Rafael Palmeiro. They had some teams back then, bro. I
Yeah.
was looking at their lineup a couple days ago. Them Texas teams in the 90s. I mean, damn. Y'all had some teams. To the
Yeah.
point where I'm like, damn, Texas was good. Like between you guys
I
and the
gotta lean on
Guardians.
y'all expertise though. I gotta lean on y'all.
Say it again.
So what are y'all? Now I was gonna say I gotta lean on y'all expertise. What's y'all expectations for my Rangers? Because y'all more in depth
Ooh.
in y'all covering. So what are y'all looking for the Rangers?
I'll
What's
start
y'all
it off, Stefan.
expectations?
No, go ahead, go.
I'll start it off. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't think there is one clear-cut favorite, especially when it comes to that division, the American League West. Like Stefan and I have talked about how great the pitching is for the Seattle Mariners. We all know who's on the Houston Astros, and we just spoke about the Texas Rangers just a few minutes ago. And I really think it's now I have the Mariners and I would say the Astros, of course, as 1 and 2, with the Rangers probably at around 3.
Okay.
The Angels, do we really care? The A's, does it really matter? No disrespect to those teams. But I think you guys need a lot more to work in your favor in terms of being in I would say, even if it comes to, I would say, the wild card picture, right? Like, forget the division, but it's gonna be tough because listen, one thing that we know about the American League, I know we like to say that the Yankees are the favorite in the American League, but there's some tough teams in there. Like aside from the 2 teams that I just mentioned in that division, you've got the Guardians, you've got the Royals on the come up, you got the Orioles, so you got so many other teams. But yeah, my dream scenario for the Rangers, I would say, I would love to see all of this happen at the same time, which is a lot. But I'd love to see DeGrom, Marcus Semien, and Corey Seager, all 3 go off. Like that would be something. Yeah. If that would have happened, dude, that's a big 3, honestly. Have those 3 guys on your team, and for everything to work in your favor, like I can only imagine how that season would turn out. So that's what I would say when it comes to the Rangers.
My thought process with the Rangers is real simple. Like, Seattle doesn't hit enough for me, where I would probably have the Rangers and the Astros higher than Seattle because I don't trust Seattle's offense.
Yeah, Rangers have a good lineup.
Yeah, Seattle's going to pitch well, but do they have enough offense to be able to sustain with where? Think about this. A couple years ago, you guys led the American League in home runs. You guys hit over 235 home runs. Adolis Garcia had a crazy year, 2023. Evan Carter came up late. You know what I'm saying? And I really do believe that now we're gonna get to that comment.
Yeah.
I really do believe at the end of the day, like Seattle's pitching is gonna be able to shut a lot of teams down. Their problem is they can't score, right? My thing with the Texas Rangers is where are you gonna get the outs in the 8th, 9th inning? Because Kirby Yates was big for you guys last year. He's with the Dodgers now. So it's like, who's going to close games for you guys? What does that look like? And also, do you toy with the idea of having one of these young starters, whether it is a lighter, or whether it is somebody of that ilk, or maybe you do with the veteran? By the way, did you hear real quick on a baseball tip? Lance Lynn is pitching for teams and he's trying to close.
Lance Lynn, okay.
Yeah, he wants to close. So I wonder if Texas needs a closer. Is Lance Lynn that somebody that you look at?
Didn't he play there at some point too? Right, he did a couple of years, I believe.
I believe he did, but I'm not
ex-Ranger.
sure. Yeah,
like
that would be my downfall with you guys is the bullpen, but that offense is no joke. That offense is no joke. You guys are going to score a lot of runs, and like I said, if you get into the playoffs, you have the ultimate, card in your back pocket because Bruce Bochy's been there a bunch. He knows how to get his teams to championships, and so. Listen, Mr. Seager has to be healthy. I need a bounce back year from Adolis Garcia. and I need to see what these young kids got. The Wyatt Langfords, the Evan Carters. I need to see what the young kids possess to be able to put them in that next tier. So I like what Texas did. I just want to see how you guys come in to start the season. For sure.
Okay.
For sure. I have one fun question for you. Now, this will probably end it because we kept you way longer than we should have. But what was some of your favorite memories of living in New York City, man? Texas boy, country boy, not
Man.
What are some of the memories, man, from living out here and commuting and all that? What was that like for you?
Man, actually, I rode the train from Harlem to Brooklyn on our train ride just to get to
Damn.
Kingsborough. And so that because they said it was one of the best community colleges. And so I missed that, but also the amount of beautiful human beings there, from
Mm.
Dominicans, from Puerto Ricans, from you name it.
Okay, I see where he's going.
You know what I'm saying? And so you go
You like
uptown,
the
get you a little
diversity.
merengue. I love the diversity, man. I love the diversity.
And
And
you
so
know,
the diversity,
the food was that Spanish food
the
together.
food, yeah, man. So you can go any diversity, you could get their culture food there. And so all of that,
Man.
I miss having different seasons, going out and just I miss everything about New York. I miss it all. I'm not gonna lie, I miss it all. I loved it.
Listen, man, we gotta get you.
I'll be back this summer, man. Be back this summer.
we gotta get you right with them sisters. You know what I mean? Gotta get you right with some of these Spanish sisters out here, boy.
Yeah, man.
Listen, man. Thank you for taking the time. We greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
Hopefully we could do this again sometime. And listen, man, don't be a stranger. If you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to the Underrated Podcast right now on YouTube. The link is in the bio. Go do that. Go subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you down the road, man. I can't wait to do this again sometime.
I'll meet y'all at the top. Thank you guys for having me. You know, I'm one phone call away. It's nothing but love always. And until I come back up there, I'm one phone call away. So when the season starts, I'm gonna be now hitting both of you guys. Send me Ivan's number. That way I can lock you in, Ivan, and start a group chat. Just start a group chat. That way we can have our own group chat and we locked in. I'm one phone call away, man. You know it's nothing but love always, brothers.
All right, Da'Yon, thank you.
Man.
Appreciate it.
All right, y'all.
You see that commented? That's funny. Yo, shout out to so back to baseball. By the way, shout out to Da'Yon, man. It felt like 2015 all over again. Honestly, deja vu.
Hell yeah.
You know, I said it at the top of the show. Now that he just left, I just got a boatload of memories that just came back to me from day one. And the time that, obviously I still get to spend with you, Stefan, but dating back to when it was the three of us, and not just the three of us, because it was really a clique of us.
We had a whole
studio. You
studio
in the chat at some point. Da'Yon did mention you as well, and shout out to everybody else who was around at the time too. But yeah, man, that was fun. But yeah, we see a lot of you guys here. Go ahead, Stefan.
I had a blast. I don't care. Listen, till the day that we pass on, we're gonna do this again. But like you said, we're gonna meet them at the top though. But I gotta get to a comment in here. TD, you think you slick just because we had a guest in here talking crazy about the Rays, talking about they winning the division.
Yes, TD. Let's get into this.
Yo, dog.
Thank you for showing this, Stefan, because I wanted to address it.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. If the Tampa Bay Rays win the American League East, I'm gonna get up and start walking. I might walk to Boston if they win the AL East. I might walk to Boston. My legs might give out as soon as I hit the city, but we walking. Oh hell no.
Well, let me ask you this, Titty, right? Because I kind of feel like he's trying to like mess around with us, but at the same time, if you genuinely do believe that, I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that just a little bit more,
The fellas can Nah, I don't necessarily listen. I like Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is gonna be competitive, but I don't think they're gonna win the nah.
Yeah, nah,
Oh
it's
hell no.
Rays ain't winning 95 games, 96, 97 games because I think that's probably what it's going to take to win that division anyway.
I pick you up at.
I think they might be having a conversation with each other.
I got you. I got you. No, I think that's a place in Boston.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Got you. My mistake.
I'm there with you, bro. I guess I'm walking there then because I don't see it. They're gonna be good, but I don't got them winning the division now.
Right. So I'm gonna show this comment here because I did watch the I guess trailer, whatever it is you want to talk. The I guess first gameplay. I forgot the exact title, but I did see the video that you're referencing, Shrek. It's good to know that they are going to be in the game.
Finally,
I made a joke with one of my friends the other day, and I said I can't wait till they make the cards of Manny Ramirez where he has perfect defense, and we all know how Manny was as a defender, which it should not be a thing, but we all know what they do in that game.
Perfect defense is like me being able to walk. That don't exist with Manny,
dudes who are not fast, suddenly they're like a little quicker than they were in real life. But it's a video game, so it makes sense.
Steph, okay, if the Yankees come in, you show you know what?
Let's do that. Let's do that. Show that. Actually,
that's a bet I'm willing to take.
All right, hold on. Keep that right there, Stefan. We're gonna leave that right there. So here's what we're gonna do here. Oh, I actually want to do this too. So TD, here's my thing with that, and I'm not disagreeing, by the way. I like this actually. This is one of those bets where if it happens, like I'm okay with having to live up to that.
I'm cool.
So you're saying that if the Rays win the American League East, I gotta wear somebody has to wear an Alex Rodriguez shirt, and then the other has to wear a Big Papi shirt. I'm down. I'm down.
With that. No, we keep receipts out here. We don't run from the smoke, Shrek.
Let's do it.
We don't run from the smoke, Shrek. We like firefighters. We inhale that thing. We don't run. We keeping receipts out here. Matter of fact, this is how you know. This is how serious we are. All right. When the season starts, we're gonna keep track of who's doing what in that division. Because I heard you talking crazy. TD in here talking crazy tonight. I respect it. You know what I mean? But we don't run from the smoke, man. If I got to pay up a bet, I'm paying up the bet.
By the way, I was just showing a comment by Shrek. But Shrek, when we were speaking to Da'Yon, don't act like I didn't see this, bro. No Showman jersey today.
Talking his shit, too.
Listen, bro, you literally, good thing we were in the middle of an interview because I was hysterically laughing on the inside.
Oh, I was dying. I was trying not to look.
Oh, boy.
You know what I mean? We don't run from it, but it's all love, man. Listen, you talking about on the show?
Okay. So, here's the bet. So the bet is if the Yankees win the division, you're gonna wear an Alex Rodriguez shirt, and if the Rays win, we wear the Big Papi shirts. Correct?
Got you. All
right. I'm down. Somebody clip this, stamp it. If you want to share it with us, to put it up on the Instagram as a friendly reminder, I will do so.
And real quick, listen, if you guys know any video editors that want to do some video editing just to sharpen their skills, hit us on the YouTube or do me a favor. When we get off a line, drop your socials in the comments. Drop something, whether it's your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, and we'll DM you and we'll get in contact with you. But we're gonna do it, bro. That bet sounds good, TD. You got one, bro. We in there. But real quick, because we are looking to expand the editing portion of the show. So after the show, if there's clips or something funny or something happens throughout the course of the show, we got one here, bro. I got one too. I just don't use it as much as he does, but I got one right here. So
appreciate that, Shrek. This is actually something that we don't have an exact date, so I don't want to sit here and tell you, hey, around this time, but at some point in 2025, we are looking
It will
to
be 27
have
ounces
these for sale.
for sure, man. Also, too, if you know anybody that wants to, help with trying to start up a store, and you know what I mean, like, that'll be dope. We'd be down for it, for real. And you guys know how much I love bleeping A Freud.
Oh, we know you love him. You don't miss a moment to mention him.
No, I don't mean to make you sick, TD, but how do you feel about the reported interest in your Red Sox and Nolan Arenado? Are you sick to your stomach at the idea that Nolan could be a sock?
Yeah, I think it was him who he wasn't really big on that, right?
Yeah. Good stuff in that mall.
That's funny. Yeah, listen, I'm sure I'm gonna have my moments during this season where we're gonna see, like, damn, if we still had Juan Soto, especially when it comes to certain at bats. But it is what it is. I think the Yankees are gonna be fine regardless.
So the conversation, CD, it depends what we give up to get him, right? But I don't think you're going to give up much, especially if you're going to take on the majority of his contract. I would think it's probably be a two low-level prospects you'd have to give up, and that's about it. I bleep and hate Nolan Arenado. That's
I figured, yeah.
He might be a sock, so you're going to have to deal with that smoke. So he wants to get back to our conversation with Luka and Nike, but I don't really see. I understand what you're saying, but if there was something, there might be something to that, because Nico Harrison's relationships with Anthony Davis and all those star players. I get it. There's a relationship there, but I don't know if I'm putting as much stock into it as many people are. I'm putting more stock into the league wanted this to go through strictly for ratings purposes. I don't necessarily believe it's something that Luka himself or Nike themselves did. I think it's the league, like, yo, get this superstar to Los Angeles. I don't want him. His defense is great.
And also, we talked about this earlier today, Stefan. But just to kind of get a feel for, maybe some of you who may have heard about this as well. Right. There was news that came out regarding Nolan Arenado basically asking the St. Louis Cardinals to put him in touch with, who many would say is the legend when it comes to the Cardinals, Mark McGwire.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals, basically said, no, we're not doing that. What are your thoughts on that? Does that mean anything in terms of the St. Louis Cardinals as an organization? And does it surprise you now that they want to get rid of Arenado, even though that probably has nothing to do with it, because I think the whole Goldie and Arenado experiment just didn't work out how they thought it would.
I think, if I'm honest, I think that was their plan from the jump. I think they knew coming into the offseason we had to get rid of Nolan because his contract just doesn't work. The thing that kind of surprised me was when you hear a guy like Jim Edmonds come out and say the culture's just not the same. You go down to spring training and they're not really accommodating anymore to the veteran players. They're not accommodating to what we need in terms of having the resources, players. There was a story Jim Edmonds told on the radio where he saw his pitchers tipping pitches, and they wouldn't let security guards they wouldn't let him in the clubhouse. Security guards had the door blocked off. But I'm like, yo, I work for the team. I announce, I do all that. I just see something that's not right on the field. Can I go and talk to this player just to let him know? And they're like, no. And then Jim Edmonds was like, all right, you want to lose, then be my guest. So TD has a comment. So Nico is LeBron Nike guy, affiliated with clubs. No one called. That's possible. That is possible. I think all of it plays into it. But I also think the Lakers have been doing this for a number of years. They did it with they almost had Chris Paul. They did it with Pau Gasol. They almost they did a sign and trade for Shaq. Like they've been doing this. The draft night trade for Kobe, they do Kareem. They've been doing this. So I'm not necessarily saying that doesn't have something to do with it, because it does. Listen, everybody knows. Ivan, what's my favorite saying? Follow the money, bro. The league wanted Luke in Los Angeles. That's no disrespect to Dallas, but the league wanted Luke in Los Angeles. That's just plain as day. Just like the league wants Shohei with the Dodgers and Judge to stay with the Yankees, and the league wants the big markets to be good so they can make money.
The other thing I wanted to say too, I should have said it earlier when we still had Da'Yon here, but now that the topic came up again, I know right now when you look at it, it does look bad, especially knowing that Luka is not going to be able to receive what he could have gotten from the Dallas Mavericks. But also, if you really look at it too, his endorsement deals are about to go through the roof over the next however many years he's going to spend in LA. So while I know he's missing out on money in the short term, in the long term, I think he'll be just fine.
Nah, he's missing out on $120 million in the short term. That
Right.
boy is sick. He's over
Yeah.
the toilet crying.
Yeah. And it showed too, because I believe that was one of the questions that they had asked him, knowing that, he was actually on the verge of possibly receiving that, had they kept him.
So hold on. So TD, you heard the Cardinals are willing to eat $20 million. I'm here to tell you unequivocally that is not true. They're not willing to eat $20 million. They might eat 10 to 15, but 20, nah. Because if you were willing to eat 20, then you should have just traded for Marcus Stroman, and he would have been a problem off your hands because the Yankees needed a third baseman. You're not willing to eat the $20 million. They're not willing to. Would you like them to? Yeah, but nah. Build the way they're trying to get under the luxury taxes while they're trading Nolan. Why would the Cardinals eat $20 million when you're trying to get most of the money off as much as possible? There's no way they're eating $20 million. I don't believe that. Not for 1 second. That could be the case, but I still don't believe the Red Sox were eating $20 million. I don't believe that. I think if you said 10 to 15, then maybe, but a full 20 now. Yeah, but Nolan to the Red Sox is interesting from the standpoint that he could actually help those young boys, man. The young guys that are coming up, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good addition. And you got to think, Nolan got pride, man. You don't think Nolan wants to play in a market that he knows he's going to have a shot to make the playoffs and do something? And not for nothing, I'm not the biggest Boston supporter, but I know winning in Boston is probably going to mean way more than him winning in St. Louis or Colorado for his baseball legacy. You win with the Red Sox, you a god out there for life.
Is this true, really? Like, has it gotten to this point? Arenado has told the Cardinals it's Red Sox or nothing.
I don't believe that for a second.
Right.
I just don't believe there's interest in him because he's slow. There's no way. My legs would be functioning right now if the Red Sox wanted to eat $20 million of the contract. There's no way.
Yeah. Maybe they might have said it, but are they actually willing to go to that extent?
No.
Probably not.
No way. Yeah, I mean, you could say that about any player that came from Colorado to a normal neutral field. I don't see it, man. But I don't think he told the Red Sox no or nothing. I just don't think it's a market. And you got to remember, Bregman's out there too. So Bregman's taking up the lion's share of his market, right? Because the same teams that are interested in Bregman could probably swing a trade for Nolan if Bregman doesn't sign with them. Like the Red Sox, the Cubs, the Tigers, like they can. I don't think the Tigers swing a trade for Nolan. But
I have this strange feeling. Whenever Pete Alonso or Alex Bregman makes their decision, I think the other is gonna sign within that same week. I don't know if you ever thought about it like that, Stefan, but what's today's date? Today is February the 5th.
So if one signs,
you think the other free agents. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. Let's say if by like this Saturday or next Tuesday, for example, Bregman signs. I think Pete Alonso signs maybe a couple days to a few days after. Because we're March is in front of us. What are we waiting for, fellas? Like you've already been told, you've been shown. I mean, it's been demonstrated in multiple ways that both of you guys are not going to get what you were originally looking for. I'm sorry to break it to you. It's time to settle while you still can.
Well, I agree with you. Listen, I'm not disputing what they're saying on Boston radio is invalid. I'm not disputing it. But from what I hear, that would be dumb of him to say because you take the leverage out from underneath you. Because the Cardinals don't have to trade you. They would like to, but they don't necessarily have to. And you're not good enough right now to demand you're going anywhere. Your numbers have dropped dramatically to the point where, like, you're just trying to get out of St. Louis because they rebuild it. You're not dictating terms. This ain't the NBA. You may have a say because you have a no trade. You may have some sort of say, but there's no way.
What the hell?
You saw that? That's funny. That's funny.
Yo, Shrek, Ronaldo to the Lakers for Bronny. That's guy.
Funny. But but that's a bad argument you guys are using because everybody's numbers drop when they leave Colorado. Story's numbers were gonna drop. I believe even Tulowitzki wasn't the same player when he got to Toronto for the time he was in Toronto for half a minute.
Yeah, I remember the turf being bad for his body.
Your numbers are gonna drop. Coors Field, you hit the ball in the air. That shit, you don't even gotta touch it. It's a home run.
Right.
It's a hitter's paradise. It's gonna drop. You can't. Coors Field is a bad excuse for why somebody is not having a level of success.
I know we're here talking about Arenado's bat, and I get it. It makes all the sense in the world. He's not
that glove is 10 times better than Devers.
Listen, that glove, when you're that good defensively, listen, I know certain things change as you age, but he's not that far into his 30s where he can't still be a good defender.
That guy's gonna be able to pick and grin until he's 60 years old. The soft hands he got, his instincts on defense, that don't leave you, bro. That's a God-given gift. I'm not mad at it.
No,
I'm not mad at it. Hell no.
Nah. I mean, he showed, and hopefully he's able to maintain it, but Durant showed that he could do it all.
Who cares, bro? Like, his numbers outside of Colorado suck, but give me a player where they left Colorado and their numbers were the same. I don't care about that. Rafael Devers is a train wreck at third base. He's playing TD, Latin. I don't mean to argue with you, but was he not playing third base last year? He was playing third base, bro. He's been playing third base ever since he got to Boston. He's a train wreck at third base. Train wreck. And also, Nolan hitting in Fenway may help his numbers to the point where he may become a better ball player. To the 7 people in here, thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate it.
I'm not surprised.
Because Nolan wasn't there. That's funny. That's funny. I like that. Little humor. That's funny. I would make this point to the people watching, right? Okay, which leads you to believe that they're going to do something at third, whether it's Bregman or Devers or whatever they choose to do. Now,
wow, that's
2020
next year.
Wow. So if they're still having internal discussions about when he's going to be the DH, take the shot on Arenado. I don't care about the offense. You got enough offense in that lineup. Take the shot. No, that's not true. Wait. Yes, exactly. Defense is the worst. Red Sox management won. But okay, so if that's the case, if what you're saying is accurate, right? Wouldn't you want somebody that's going to fill that void?
I get what you're saying. Why, if this is the goal, why not act on it now while you can?
Exactly.
When you still have some, respectable third baseman still available on the market.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So, all right, then you take Bregman, which is good. Either one of them are going to help you. Either one are going to make you better. If you ask me what I prefer they do, take Bregman. He's a better ball player. Nolan's older. His offensive numbers are slipping, but I don't care about the bat. I really don't. I'm sorry. I don't care about the bat. He's 34 years old. The bat speed is going to get slow. Mm-hmm. This guy is a platinum glove third baseman. His defense is ridiculous, bro. Even still, to this day, his defense is ridiculous. If they told me right now, they said to me, yo, I wouldn't be mad with either one. But if you told me I got a choice between Nolan Arenado and Alex Bregman, what? I'm taking either one of them.
That's right.
So here's the problem with the Red Sox playing the leverage game, and you know where I'm about to go. This is the last ownership group I want playing games. Spend some damn money and stop playing these leverage games, because you're missing out on every damn body that's known to man. You wanted Max Fried, he said, I'm coming to the Yankees. You wanted this one, he said, I'm going somewhere else. It's like the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are playing like you ever seen the game musical chairs about who finishes second in all the offers? It's like Toronto and Boston finished second and third for a guy that signed somewhere.
That's right. I kind of feel like the only time they really showed out was when they acquired Crochet from the White Sox. That's when they said, all right, we're gonna give this team exactly what they're asking for to be able to say we got him, you know?
Yeah, and here's the other thing. If you don't re-sign him, if you don't re-sign him, only guy I wanted was Burns and Buehler. Yeah, I forgot. Walker Buehler's Sox fans for life guy.
Yeah, Burns. I would have liked to see that in Boston, man. That would have been interesting. Bringing the rivalry back right here on 27 ounce.
Nah, it's all love. Ain't no beef. We just have difference of opinion.
Show that.
Yeah, stuff you got it, bro. But John Henry's and numbers got. Listen, we're playing the same game in New York right now with Hal talking about, the payroll shouldn't be a certain number. So we get it. Like these dudes. These new owners, man, I wish there was one owner in baseball that just worried about baseball. And I'm not saying you can't worry about the economics, but here's the thing. If you win, you're going to make way more money than you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, why do these owners have this in their heads of we're not going to win? Now, can somebody please explain to me something? Did you see the Orioles? What they've been doing, who they've been signing?
Pete back to the Mets. Did that just break?
Yes, 2 years, $54 million. Yes.
Wow. Hold up. Let me get it. Breaking news. One more time.
So Pete Alonso back to the Mets, 2 years, $54 million, with an option, with an opt-out on the second year.
Yes. All right. This is what I'm talking about, because now we got to stay here. Now we got to actually get into this.
Hold on. So what we're going to do, guys, matter of fact, we're going to make a whole new stream real quick. Guys, come back in like 10 minutes, because we're going to make a whole new video breaking this news, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, so for those of you who are here, we want to keep this, the Da'Yon interview, and just a little bit about baseball. But now that Pete Alonso has, agreed to go back to the Mets,
we got
to be its separate video.
We got to make a new link. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back in a few minutes, guys. We'll be back in a few minutes. Let everybody know if they're a baseball fan to tap in, man.